Instagram stories being 10 seconds and all these things. So I've been thinking about that quote from Marianne Williamson where she says that we are more afraid of our greatness than we are of our darkness. And that so much of this human experience is us really running from our true selves, from our big selves, from our real, authentic self. That we are living in this world where we're all trying to keep ourselves small and we're all looking for permission, really, at the end of the day, from authority figures, from the outside world, from people around us, to give us permission to step into our greatness and to step into our wholeness. And we feel like when we're not getting that permission, when we're being told that we're too much, when we're being told that we're too big, when we're being told that we're too needy, that this is something really bad about us and we need to shut down and be small again. And I think that, again, the big thing that we all need to recognize is that in this life, we are here to learn. We are here to grow. We are here to expand. We are not here to be perfect and have everything already figured out and no struggles and have everyone understand us and to know ourselves perfectly and to never go through anything hard. And I think the first thing we need to acknowledge is that as humans, we have a lot of trauma around pain, and we have a lot of trauma around journey. We are all very afraid of a journey. We are afraid of what the journey means about us. We are afraid of what the journey means about life. We're afraid that if there's a journey and a path and something we can't predict, we don't know how it's going to turn out, we don't know that we're going to be okay, we can't guarantee ourselves that we're going to get where we want to go, that we're going to get to heaven, that we're going to get to the healed body, that we're going to get the perfect relationship, whatever it is. We're on some sort of journey where we're in pain right now. We're not our true selves. We're not our full selves. We're not everything. We can tell there's potential laying within us. And there's wounds, and there's pain, and there's struggle, and there's confusion, and there's this vision of where we want to go. And we don't really actually know how to get there, right? This is the human trauma. We are all living with this of just, I know there's more to me. I know there's more to life. I know there's more to this reality. We seek God. We seek plant medicine. We seek connection with each other. We seek these transcendental experiences. We seek, again, healing of the body, a healing of our relationships. We seek this perfect ideal because we know that there is more. We know that there is potential for more. We understand that in ourselves and in others and in this life, there is potential for more. But we are here to be on a journey. We are here to learn. And like I say, there's even this instinct, this instinctual part of us that knows that there is a part of us that does know. There is a part of us that has the wisdom, that is going to be able to figure it out, that has the insight. God, the inner self, the universe, whatever you want to call it. There's a part of us that feels that we have access to something greater. But we can't have the sense of feeling that all the time. And so, overarchingly, what I'm saying is that we all sense in ourselves that there's greatness. We all sense in ourselves that there's more. More to us, more to life. And we are human. And we have pain, and we have struggles, and we have confusion, and we have things we haven't seen before, and things we haven't done before. And we get really caught in this juxtaposition, and I think a lot of the time, the fear of the unknown, the fear of I don't know where the journey is going to take me, the fear of I don't know how complicated and how complex the journey is going to be, the fear of if it's not going to go exactly how I think it's going to go, if I'm going to run into struggles that I didn't predict I was going to run into, if I'm going to run into problems that I didn't know I was going to run into, if I'm going to run into these unknowns, that this is somehow a reflection on me, that I'm bad, I'm wrong, I'm stupid, I didn't know, right? I made a mistake, I didn't know. And that this is somehow taking away from my value, taking away from my worth as a human being. That I went for something and the first, second, third, fourth, 10th attempt, I didn't get it. Because there was more to the journey than I thought. There was more to the path than I thought. There was more complexity to going from where I am to stepping into the greatness that I know I'm capable of, or stepping into the great life that I desire. And we get really hung up on that. And we make this pain that we experience along the journey mean that we're doing something wrong, and that we are wrong, and that we are bad. And then in the world, we are afraid of other people's journeys. We are so afraid of looking at other people who are walking the path. We want to look at people who are stuck in their shit, like we're stuck in our shit, to validate that we don't have to do anything, that there isn't a path, there isn't a way, we just need to learn to cope with this. Or we want to look at the people who, in our minds, we have created, are on the other side. They have it all figured out, they have the dream body, they have the dream life, they have the dream thing, and they can sell it to us in a product, in a 1, 2, 3 step, in a here's all the mistakes I made, you can avoid this, in a it's simple, it's easy, I have the solution to your problem. We don't want to see somebody walking a path of complexity. We don't want to see someone figuring it out. We don't want to see somebody struggling, figuring something out, struggling, figuring something out, struggling, figuring out something out, seeing that the journey is a journey, and that what we thought was going to take us from where we are to where we want to go is almost always way too simple, not complex, right? We're operating from our beginner's mind of this is all I understand about this, and therefore this solution that I think is the thing. I can just go on the diet. I can just do the tapping technique. I can just say this prayer. I can just do this fast. It should just be easy. It should just be this one step. And all these people are telling me it's just this one step, because we have that. We have that in our world. We have people constantly telling us that it's just this one thing. I had what you had. I had your anxiety, and I did this prayer, and I did this meditation, and now I don't. I had your health issue, and I just did this diet switch, and now I don't. So what's wrong with you that you did it, or you did the prayer, or you did the diet, or whatever, and it didn't heal you? It must be something wrong with you. It couldn't be that the journey is more complex. And you know, the other thing that I've just witnessed watching a lot of spiritual people and people in the self-help world and the just that world is that they constantly have the same problem with a new solution every month or every 6 months or every new book. It's I had anxiety and this meditation and yoga fixed it. And then now 6 months later, I've got a new book about this solution to my anxiety because it came back. But now this is the solution. And then in 6 months, they're going to have a whole nother thing. Like, it was just this, and now it wasn't just that, it's this too. And technically speaking, that's more authentic to the journey. If we could stop saying, I found the solution to this, and we could start saying, I found a step that took me one step closer. I found a tool that made it a little bit better. I found a 1% better. I found a 2% better. And that's something, because that is the actual path to greatness. That is the actual path to what we want. It's not ever going to be, I take one step from where I'm at, I'm in debt $1 million, and I put $1 in the bank account, and now I have $1 million, right? And that's another metaphor that I really love, is that we were all born into the chaos. We were all born into pain. We were literally born into bodies. And I really want to emphasize this, especially in my deep tissue cleansing world. We were born into bodies that were impure, messed up, not complete, whole, vital bodies. That we had this perfect little baby body that was absolutely whole and perfect. And then it was treated exactly how it needed to be treated all through our childhoods. And then it's just somewhere in our adulthood we fucked it up and now we're sick. Like, not at all. We were handed bodies that generation after generation after generation after generation have been degraded. And what we're kind of up against when we're looking at healing in any kind of way is it's generational. It's societal. We live in a culture that tells us that this is a normal way to eat, that this is a normal body type, that this is a normal way to spend our days, sitting at desks under fluorescent lights where we never go outside and we never breathe and we don't have connection with each other, and we eat food that is frankenfood that was made in a factory that our bodies don't understand, and there's something wrong with you that you don't feel good, right? Like, no. And so the point of that being, we, of course, are afraid of the journey because the journey makes it complicated. And we oftentimes make the journey that if it's going to be a journey, if it's not going to just be this quick thing, if it's not just one step, if it's not just 2 steps, I'm already in too much pain. I'm already trying hard enough. This is already so difficult that I don't want to hear or know or be told that it's going to be just 1% better, and then 1% better, and then 1% better. We don't want to see somebody walking a path. We don't want to see somebody becoming great. We want to see somebody validating that we don't have to do it because it's too hard. Or already on the other side, telling us that they got the results they got in a way that makes sense to us for where we're at right now. So if you are on a path of healing, if you are on a path of greatness and discovering, and you're seeing that it's not simple, you're taking the steps, you're doing the things, and it's getting 1% better. But also, it's bringing up more shit than you even thought was there, right? You're on this path that it seems sometimes that the more steps you take, the more in the weeds you get, because now you're unpacking and there's way more in there than you thought. There's this Pandora's box. We got to be okay with that. That's what it looks like. That it's a journey, right? People I know have looked at me and they've been like, you're not perfect. I can tell you don't have perfect health. I can tell you're not perfectly enlightened. I can tell you made this little mistake. You did this little thing. You're contradicting yourself. And therefore, you don't have it. Write it off. And I completely understand that. Because we're in so much pain so much of the time that we can only handle, you tell me you're perfect. You give me a reason to believe that I'm going to get to my perfect place because you're at the perfect place. I need you to be perfect because if you're not perfect, there's no hope for me. I don't see the path. I don't know how I'm going to get there. And if you're not my beacon of light, my perfect thing is possible. You shatter my dreams. And that's too painful. And that's okay. Right? This is why I say that self-love is everything. Because ultimately, you are great. And the world is not going to celebrate you becoming great. The world is going to celebrate you in your shit that we all share so that we're all comforting each other that we don't have to do it, that it's not possible, that those crazy people on the path, look, it's not better. They're just working hard and doing all these things that are uncomfortable and giving up all their comforts and giving up all their coping mechanisms, and they're even crazier than we are. They're in more pain than we are. They're in the weeds more than we are. Of course, let's not do that. All of us, let's just band together, judge them as crazy, pick out all their flaws, and use that as a little protection of ourselves, that we don't have to do it. Or the world is going to celebrate you if you promise that you're perfect. You're healed, you're transcended, you're over it, and you can offer a solution that makes sense to them. Those are the two places the world is going to celebrate you. But the real path is neither of these things. The real path is, I'm going to unpack Pandora's box. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to go through dark nights of the soul. I'm going to get lost. I'm going to try things that aren't going to work. I'm going to be in the weeds sometimes. I'm going to try stuff and fail. But it's never a failure if I choose to learn from it. And if I can love myself enough that I don't have shame and guilt about my path. And I can love myself enough that I don't need the world to reflect my path back to me. I don't need the world to be doing what I'm doing. I don't need them to be approving of what I'm doing. I don't need consensus reality to make me feel comfortable in doing what I'm doing. Rather, I'm going to go. I'm going to do what I think I need to do. Of course, I'm going to listen to people who went before me, because there are always people who have wisdom. Right? There are spiritual guides. There are ancient texts that were not that different from each other. Right? The path isn't going to be that different. Your path is going to be your path, and it's going to be an archetype. So we can listen to wisdom. We can do these things. But ultimately, we kind of have to be willing to go it on our own and to not look for that external validation. And that's a part of the path. Right? That getting into that state where people are not understanding you and they are judging you and you're living your life. You might not even be sharing it, right? You might just be living your life, and there are people in your life who don't want you to get better, who don't want you to do your thing, who are constantly telling you, you're doing it wrong, don't do it, it's not worth it, you're making me feel bad about myself, you're making me uncomfortable, you're too much, you're too needy, you're too emotional, you're too crazy, just be normal. Why are you like this? Right? We accept that that's what it's going to be. And we start to develop our inner sense, our inner connection to reality when consensus fails us, when community fails us, when humanity fails us, when they can't be there for us. They can't understand us. They can't validate us. They're not there to support us. And they're antagonistic. Right? This is going to be what is going to happen. People are going to antagonize you. And it's not their fault. They're scared and they're wounded and they're projecting. And they don't want you to suffer and struggle, because that means that they're going to suffer and struggle. And they can't believe that right now, because they're already suffering and struggling too much. They need to believe the path is easy. And you showing that it's complicated and it's not just one step and that there's all this stuff to unpack makes them feel overwhelmed. And that's okay. Right? So we get to this place where we can start to say, okay, I get it. The world isn't going to celebrate me. I'm not going to be validated in this. There's going to be so many parts of my path that are the absolute right step, that are the absolute right thing, that are exactly what I need to be doing. And it might be, this is exactly what I need to be doing, and it's part of the autopsy phase. It's part of the taking things apart. I'm putting $10 in my bank account, but I'm $1 million in debt. So I did all this work to put in that $10, and now I'm just $10 less in debt. I'm not in the green. It didn't make me rich. It didn't even get me out of debt. It didn't even really get me close to being out of debt. But it got me a little bit out of debt. And like I say, the world isn't going to celebrate that. People aren't going to validate you in that. And we're not going to be seen the way we want to be seen. Things are going to be profound for us that everyone else is not going to care about. And like I say, we're going to do stuff and we're not going to be perfect. Like, I am never going to be perfect. I completely know that. I am not teaching from a place of, I am transcended. And it was 1, 2, 3 steps. And here's how you can do it. I'm teaching from, I was born way in debt. And I've come, I want to say that I'm like $10 in the green. So people who were born neutral are going to look at me and be like, that's garbage. Right? And I completely validate that. Because we're all just totally different. We're at different places. We have different journeys. We weren't all born with $1 million in the bank account. In the sense of a super healthy body and parents that were kind of awake and supported us. And a society that validated and reflected back to us that who and what we are is good. Most of us weren't born into that at all. Right? And so this discovering of our greatness, this is another thing, the last thing that I want to just touch on in this, is this discovering of our greatness. You discovering who and what you are and what makes you great may not be something that this world celebrates as great. Right? It may not be that you become a millionaire. You might not invent the next greatest thing. You might not become the world's greatest spiritual teacher. You might not write the profound book. Your greatness might be mothering your children in an awake way, where you're on your path and you're nurturing those babies better than your mom nurtured you or your dad nurtured you. That is fucking great. Like, don't ever let anyone minimize what you are doing and what your greatness is, because it didn't match up to their standard of what greatness is. We all have a greatness. We all have a genius. We all have a path. And for some of us, that greatness and that genius is, I get up every day, I go to my job, I'm a nice person. People like being around me. I make other people feel comfortable. I have a family. Maybe I don't have a family. I enjoy my hobbies. I take care of my body. That is great. That is profound. When we have this balanced life versus I'm going to sacrifice all my relationships, I'm going to sacrifice my health, I'm going to sacrifice everything I need to sacrifice because I want to achieve greatness in my career. Because that's what the world celebrates. And it's okay that I'm an asshole. And it's okay that I destroy my body. And it's okay that I'm completely irresponsible with my finances. Because that's what I need to cope with this crazy work life. Because I'm successful. Right? Like, which of these two things is actually great? And maybe you think plan B is great. And that if you do it. Do your level of greatness. That's totally legit. But we just have to say, the world may not validate you. And your greatness may not be what everyone else recognizes as greatness. And your path of 1% better, 1% better, 1% better may not be validated by everyone else. And in fact, may be antagonized by everyone else. You may be told you're doing it wrong and you have nothing of value to offer and you're making other people feel bad about themselves. You're too much, you're too emotional, you're too over the top, you're too. Okay? Or maybe you're a whole human who's not squashing yourself. And that's a part of your greatness. The path itself, the messiness, the craziness, the unpredictability of it, that you don't even know what's going on with you sometimes. That's good. That's what it looks like. And it's okay if everyone else doesn't understand that. So the world is going to be afraid of your greatness. They're going to antagonize your greatness. And your greatness is the path. 1% better, 1% better, 1% better. Keep pursuing it. Keep going. Keep knowing there's more to you. There's more to life. And you're going to keep pursuing it. You're going to keep falling on your face. You're going to keep learning from the breakdown. You're going to love yourself enough that you're not going to make yourself wrong for not knowing. You're not going to make yourself wrong for going out and having it not work the way you thought it would. You're not going to make yourself wrong for taking a step and having it give you different results than you thought. That's how we learn. That is how we learn. And the point is to learn. So celebrate your greatness. The fact that you're doing it, the fact that you're trying, the fact that you're on it, the fact that you are not giving up on you is great. Okay? The world's not going to validate your greatness. And that is part of the path, because you need to develop that inner strength of I'm going to do it anyways. The world doesn't understand, and I'm going to go anyways. I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to pursue it anyways. Because that is the real strength. To become your fullest self, you are going to need to develop the capacity to do it in the face of antagonism and no support and not being understood and not really even being sure and knowing and understanding yourself. But you're going to do it anyways because you want to learn. And you're going to understand that in some areas of your life, you were born very much in debt. So you're going to put in a lot of work and you're still going to be in debt. And rather than letting that discourage you, be like, hey, it's better than it was. Right? Like, let's focus on how it's better than it was. Am I making progress? And sometimes, like I say, it's not going to feel like you are. But you're learning. When it gets chaotic, when it gets messy, open to that. That doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. If you learn from it, if you're open to it, if you lean into the feelings and the confusion and the not knowing instead of running from it, don't make it wrong. Don't make yourself wrong. Let it be. That is great. That is greatness. That is what greatness looks like. That is what greatness sounds like. That is the walk of greatness. I'm going to do it even if I'm not validated. I'm going to love myself enough to make as many mistakes as I need to make to learn what I'm learning. I'm going to embrace that the journey is going to be complex, because it is. It's more complex than I know of. There's so many steps that I don't even know are a thing right now, because if I did, I'd be there. But the point is the path. The point is not the destination. It's not that I let go of the destination. It's that I don't make that the thing. The thing is the path. The thing is the learning. The thing is the growth. I'm here to learn. I'm glad for the thing. But the path is the point. And I'm not going to look to the world to validate me. I'm going to be okay with 1% better, 1% better, 1% better. It's not a simple fix. Millions of tools in my toolbox. Versus what's the one thing that's going to get me out of the pain that I'm in. Because it's never going to be one thing. It's going to be a continual unfolding. And you're going to discover more and more and more about yourself. And it is going to lead to more and more joy and freedom, because there are so many things in my life that I have healed and struggles that I used to have that I don't have anymore. And that is a part of this. I'm not still where I was 10 years ago. I'm not still where I was 5 years ago. I've made progress, real progress, actual problems that are no longer problems in my life. I don't have to wonder if I'm doing it right, because I have results. But those results were hard to get. Not impossible. I had to love myself. I had to validate myself. The world looked at me and saw a mess, and that was okay. I did it anyways, and I'm doing it anyways. And I know that you can do it too. Okay? So that's half an hour. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I hope this resonated with you. And have a fantastic day. Just know you're already perfect. You're already whole. You're already complete. That's the truth of who you are. This earth experience is just that. It's an experience. We're learning. But it's not ultimately anything about you. Ultimately, you're perfect. And if we can learn from that, live from that place, this is a grand experiment. Let's see what we can learn. But it doesn't mean anything about you. Okay? I love you so much. You are so great. Walk your path. I am celebrating you. The world may not, but I am. I am right here. I am celebrating you. I am holding you. I know you can do this. I know you are doing this. I know it looks like a mess sometimes. I know you feel lost. I know you feel scared. I know you feel like you don't know where you're going and you don't have a lighthouse and all of these things, and that's okay. Okay. End the video.